Hey snipers, this is Mike here with the Long Shot. Today we're talking about the Ruger Precision Rifle Generation 4. This is the newest gen of the Ruger Precision. I previously put out a review on the Gen 3 saying I was not going to be buying the Gen 4 due to the price and not thinking the value was there. However, after doing some more investigation and being corrected by the community on the pricing, I couldn't resist. I've shot this for a sniper match and I want to tell you what I think about it. Let's go. Impact! Before we get into it, I ask you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That's the quickest way that you can help me grow and it costs you nothing. Hit that like button as well if you enjoy this content. Thank you. All right, so here we have a very beautiful and new Generation 4 Ruger Precision Rifle. In my last video, I was calling this the Gen 3 and everybody corrected me on that. Apologies for that. I have shot the Gen 3 and I now have the Gen 4 that I've shot for one full team field match, which I like to call a sniper match because I really want to be a sniper, even though I'm not. All right, so first I want to go through the features of the Gen 4 that are new updates compared to the Gen 3. These all launched in December of 2024, but I think the market is still evaluating to understand if we like this or not. The MSRP set at $21.49. All of my subscribers in the last video were telling me, hey, that's not the street price. You can find these for $1,700 bucks. My dealer price, I was able to get this at $1,450. Realistically, consumers, you may be able to find this $1,700. So I think that's our baseline for this conversation. This is a 24-inch barrel, 6.5 Creedmoor. They offer a 308. I believe there are other versions as well, 6.5 PRC and then 300 Win Mag. The updates over the Gen 3. This has a heavier contour barrel. You can feel the weight difference and it helps it to be a lot better balanced. I have two MDT M-LOK weights up here that are helping it to be balanced, and I probably need two more because this is a little back heavy still. Again, you want this to rest perfectly on a barricade, so while you're shooting it off of a barricade, you're not having to exert many external forces on it. They say it has a new and improved muzzle brake. Whether you're going to feel the difference of that, not really sure. It does have an integrated ARCA rail along the 15-inch forend, which is a nice feature, and a new upgraded buttstock. Those are the main features. I think the bolt knob's a little different too, but those are the main features that they're selling as part of the update for the RPR Gen 4. So now let me talk about my experience with those. Again, I shot a one-day team field match, which means you have 4 minutes between two partners to find and engage rifle and pistol targets. We shot this out at Coleman's Creek in Ellerbe, North Carolina. Wonderful facility. If you have a chance to get out there for any match or just a range day, please go ahead and do that. A lot of long range opportunities there. This was my first field match. I've shot a lot of DMR matches, a lot of PRS matches, but I've never shot a blind match before where you had to find the targets on the clock, figure out your dope, and engage. What I will say first is that I did not feel limited by the rifle at all. In fact, I thought it was a nice platform. Don't know the exact weight, but it is certainly not as heavy as my PRS rifle, which is over 20 pounds. Although it does have some weight to it, so you feel like you're able to get stable on different barricades in different positions. I was shooting AC 140 grain, and I'll talk about the ammo that it likes later. I think that I was able to manage the recoil pretty well, especially since I'm used to shooting 6mm variants that are a lot softer shooting. My first impression is that the muzzle brake works very well. Is that much of an upgrade over the Gen 3 muzzle brake? Not really. I feel like the Gen 3 manages recoil as well, but the heavier barrel contour means you'll have to add less weight to get this thing balanced, which is definitely a positive. Having the ARCA rail is nice. Obviously, you can slide an ARCA RRS style mount bipod right on there. That's not a huge deal to me, and even in my last video I commented, hey, I don't think that's a massive upgrade because you can bolt on an ARCA rail for 30 bucks, but it is really nice to have a full-length sturdy metal ARCA rail for this whole thing. You can do anything with it. Mostly 90% of the time it's just going to be mounting that bipod on, but being able to slide it anywhere for different positions, even putting it back here and using it as a barricade stop, the possibilities are endless with that full-length slider rail. Because these are made for long range, it does come standard with a 20 MOA mount. On top of this, I have an Athlon Cronus BTR Gen 2, 4.5 to 29. I really like this rifle scope. The buttstock is another feature that Ruger upgraded. This has been probably the biggest drawback to the RPRs. The buttstocks are terrible. Now, okay, are they really terrible? No, not really, but when you need to adjust it, they're so clunky. I don't understand why they just don't do something better, license the Magpul PRS stock or something else. A lot of people are buying these rifles and then immediately ripping them off and putting the Magpul PRS stock on, which is stinks if you buy a new rifle and then already have to get into an upgrade because it's not equipped appropriately. Although it's technically improved, I would say it's just different. I don't think it's any better than the previous one. This huge wing nut is really clunky. Like the whole thing to get set is really annoying. That said, once you get it set, you don't have to move it. It's fine. It doesn't feel the greatest quality, although parts of it are heavy metal, but you don't have to even take your cheek comb. You don't have to put that down to get the bolt out because every RPR does come with a folding buttstock, which is really cool. Now, my initial impressions of how it shot. First, I tried Hornady 147 grain ELDMs. This is a 24-inch 1-to-8 twist barrel. I thought that was a relatively fast twist, so I was expecting to be able to shoot the heavies, the 147s. However, on grouping those, it threw like a 3-inch group at 100 yards. Shooting out to 600-700 yards for this team field match, that was not going to be an option. When you buy a rifle like this, you do not expect to have a 3 MOA gun. So then I was under crunch because obviously I hadn't prepared properly, and I threw AC 140 grain. This is about the cheapest ammo you can get. They're open tip match bullets manufactured by Hornady, loaded by AC. They would compare to something like the Hornady American Gunner. These are about $1 a round. And I did a 5-shot group with those at 100 yards, and it threw a 1/2-inch group. Now, a couple more groups it did open up. I would say it was actually a 1 MOA gun with that cheap ammo, but I was really impressed that I was able to get a 1/2-inch group. And I think what that was telling me was this barrel likes a little bit in the 140 range or lighter. Those 147s were just too heavy. So while I like to default to the heavier bullets, that's fine. I'm gonna have to find some. I had some 123 Hornady SSTs laying around. I just tried a group with those to see if I could get a good group. And that was about 2 MOA, so those aren't gonna work either. So next I'll try other 140 grain variants. But I think that's a pretty promising sign that out of a cold hammer forged barrel, which I know will be very durable, it was able to shoot the cheapest ammo at 1 MOA. I shot that for the whole match, which was 6 stages, and I never felt like I missed because the gun wasn't dialed in. All of my misses were because of a dope calculation under the clock, or just making mistakes, misjudging the wind, things like that. I never once felt like I missed because of the gun, and I think that's really saying something when we're out there shooting against a lot of military snipers that have AIs and very expensive military sniper weapon systems. If you are shooting this, it does come with 2 10-round PMags. The bolt feels really grindy running across the plastic in those PMags. So what I recommend is you immediately switch to metal AICS mags. I just use the same mags that I use for my PRS gun. I have 308, 656 Creedmoor 10 and 12 round magazines, and those made the feeding so much smoother. It made the perception of the bolt so much smoother to run. Impact! And I had reliable feeding all day. PMags are cool. I like them because when I was in the Army, they were an easy and cheap upgrade from the terrible mags that we had that didn't have anti-tilt followers that had been probably used since Vietnam. But in all honesty, they're not that great. They work in a pinch, but if you really want reliable feeding, I would recommend to go with the metal AICS mags. MDT sells them, a lot of different variants out there. Otherwise, I shot this gun completely stock and I really liked it. I felt like it was balanced. I ran a Skypod bipod on the front. It was light enough to maneuver when we weren't in the exact correct shooting position and had to shuffle around a bit, but it was heavy enough just basically because of this heavy contour barrel that I was able to manage recoil. I could see my trace the whole way and I could spot where my hits were going, which is really important. You don't always have the luxury of having a dirt berm behind your target, which is going to tell you where you missed. Spotting your trace is really important, and to spot your trace, you can't come completely off of your point of aim when you break that shot. Now, although I felt that it was right to not upgrade this for this video, because I always like to evaluate things in their stock configuration before we upgrade, I do think that is another cool feature with the RPRs. There are a lot of different upgrade options and some AR components like the buffer tube stock, so you can put any type of AR style buffer stock on here. And the pistol grip, same thing. I'm sure with these M-LOK slots, you can dangle tons of different things off of there. So I think overall, this is a really cool platform. All right, so do I think it's worth, let's just say $16.50? If you can find this for $16.50, I really do like it. I think it's a good option because although it's not perfect, in that price range, which is really just $600 more than the basic entry-level hunting rifle, at least the ones that I would shoot. I'm not talking about the $500 whatever Savages and things like that. I think that this is an awesome rifle. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, I got a buddy who had problems with his, I believe, Gen 2 or Gen 3 RPR, kept sending it out, and they replaced it for him and gave him a custom shop for a nominal fee. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that if you get an RPR and break it and send it to them, that they're gonna give you a custom shop. However, I do think that Ruger stands behind their product. If they cannot fix it, they will make it right. I believe I've heard multiple stories of them having great customer service, and I haven't heard one where they're screwing somebody over. So that's something to consider as well. With this being $16.50, again, I do think this is a good buy. I'm not gonna say a great buy. I do think this is a good buy. You could potentially get something better for $16.50. You could get like a Tikka or a Bergara barreled action or just the rifle and slap a better stock on here, like an MDT ESS or something that comes with a much better buttstock and kind of be in the same price range, maybe a little bit more. But if you feel positively towards the Ruger name because they're an American company, then I encourage you to get this. I wouldn't hold it back. If this was up in the $2,000 price range, truly, I would say there are way better guns that you can get for $2,000. You can get a Seekins rifle. You can probably snag a used MPA. There are tons of other rifles that you can get in that $2,000 price range. But I think this kind of is a game changer that you could take this and go shoot a long range match with the absolute cheapest ammo you could find. I do not think that we should overlook that. So again, no barrel break-in or anything. I was able to throw some rounds down range, go out to a team field match, and although we came in the bottom half, I won't tell you how bottom we came in. That was because it was our first time shooting a team match together, and it was our first time shooting a blind match. I have no doubt that this platform performed exactly how I asked it to. I did not miss a single shot because of the platform itself. It performed very well for me. Shooting the 6.5 Creedmoor was awesome too, because on the clock you could do that 6.5 Creedmoor math and find out your dope very quickly, and it's close enough for medium range engagements, 500 yards. So I encourage you to find these. If you can, get one. If you think, hey, there's still some problems with it, I totally agree with you. It's not perfect. You may even be better off finding like a Gen 3 used or an older one and then just putting a different buttstock and putting an Arca rail on it. And now you have an awesome shooting gun for maybe $1,200. So that's another option as well. And that's the conclusion I came to in my first video on the RPR. So I take it back, Ruger. I don't think you killed the RPR, but I do think if you're going to keep this line going with all of these new almost custom production rifles coming out, like the Tikka that's coming out later this year, the Tikka Ace, with other kind of like semi-custom production lines like Seekins and things like that, MPA, I think you're really going to have to step your game up for the Gen 5. No idea when that's going to come or if you're even going to do it, but just make a better buttstock. Come on, that's ridiculous. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You may feel like I left you hanging on the conclusion, but it's totally up to you. I just want to provide the info to tell you my experience with it, and you need to decide if this is the right rifle for you. But again, I do think it's pretty awesome that you can spend about $1,600 and go shoot a PRS match and not be inhibited by the rifle. So that's it for now. We're gonna have a lot more videos coming out as I have some cool upgrades coming in for this thing, and we'll check those out and see if it's worth upgrading. This is gonna be a long project series, and I will maintain this as my sniper match gun. If I do any NRL hunters, any sniper or team sniper matches the rest of this year, this is gonna be the gun that I'm gonna do it with. And save it for all the crybabies that are gonna say 6.5 Creedmoor is not a sniper gun. Oh well, don't care. All right. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time on the long shot. Get out there, shoot long. It's a lot of fun to hear that steel ring, especially at 1,000 yards. And take care till next time. Bye. Yeah, let's just go to the pistol.
I'll get the pistol. too low.
Okay.
I got one pig in the clearing.
It's an armadillo.
Armadillo. 183.
Okay, I see a squirrel. Near a tree with a number 2 on it, 192.
What, near the tree with the number 2 on it?
Yeah. Straight out here. Big
Oh yeah, I
tree
see the
with number
squirrel.
2. Where's your pig at?
Armadillo, he's in the clearing to the right underneath the car.
93. Okay, armadillo.
So 184. And
Up, way to the right, I see one bobcat, 195.
to the right.
All right, there's gotta be another bobcat out there.
Yeah, I can't see it where I'm at.
Squirrel, all right, get ready to shoot.
Okay, what are the ranges? One like
Dude,
190?
they're all 180, 190 so far.
Let me know what you're shooting.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot the armadillo
Okay.
on it.
Impact.
I missed. Okay. Hey Mike, you wanna get on your gun?
Okay.
You wanna go for the squirrel?
No, kind of can't shoot behind you.
Okay, you good?
Good. Impact. Impact.
Okay, go to the 2 other targets.
All right, I'll hit the squirrel.
Okay.
Got it. Impact. Impact.
Still trying to find this bobcat.
It's like way at the right edge.
Wait, take you-
Okay, I'm
you
going
armadillo.
armadillo.
I see the bobcat.
Impact. Impact.
Bobcat.
Impact. Impact.
Are you done?
No, there's no bobcat.
Okay, let me get that bobcat real quick.
Just be in the back wood line, just shoot it for 200.
Okay, trying to find it. Where is it?
Another bobcat.
Oh my gosh, where'd it go?
It's in the shadows, man. Sorry, I'm giving you.
It's okay.
I kind of lost where it was, so.
Time.